In Russia, a staggering announcement has pulled the curtain back on the country's wartime manpower crisis. Moscow plans to import 1 million Indian workers, a move that reveals the scale of Russia's internal collapse and its growing dependence on foreign labor to sustain even basic functions. Euromaidan Press says the announcement came from the Ural Chambers of Commerce and Industry, which revealed plans to bring in 1 million Indian laborers to fill vacancies left by Russians sent to the front. These workers are not being hired for skilled industry or reconstruction, but keep everyday systems running, a signal that Russia's domestic labor pool has been gutted by conscription. Framing this as a commercial initiative barely conceals its real function. Covering for the massive depletion of able-bodied workers across the country, the impact was immediate. And while state media largely ignored the news, regional outlets and officials confirmed it quietly, and the announcement circulated widely on military-focused channels. What little commentary emerged from Russian politicians was vague and avoidant, focused on economic partnerships rather than addressing the underlying issue. But the move did not go unnoticed. It broke a powerful illusion that Russia, despite mounting casualties and mobilization rounds, could rely indefinitely on its population. This moment also reveals growing fatigue inside Russian society. The silence of the state has left a vacuum filled with sarcasm and unease. Russian veterans associations and military analysts, many of whom have supported earlier mobilizations, are now beginning to question the logic of replacing conscripted citizens with foreigners. Their tone has shifted from patriotic confidence to guarded discomfort, a trend that points to a broader decline of the war narrative. The scale of this decline was underscored by a separate development just days earlier. Pavel Gubarev, a former official of the self-declared Donetsk People's Republic, publicly admitted that Russia has suffered over 1 million killed, wounded, or missing in just 3.5 years. 1 million is not a small number, he said, a statement all the more notable because it came not through official channels, but during an informal interview that quickly spread online. No Kremlin spokesperson has confirmed the figure, but Gubarev's words offered a rare breach in the wall of censorship and illustrated how deeply the toll has cut into Russian society. The Indian labor plan is not an isolated event. It is part of a broader shift in how Russia is attempting to offset its mounting losses. In recent weeks, Ukrainian forces have captured multiple Cameroonian nationals in frontline areas. These individuals had been promised factory work in Russia, but were issued military gear upon arrival. Their contracts promised just about 1 million rubles, or $13,000, significantly less than Russian recruits, confirming that Moscow is sourcing expendable labor from abroad, Euromaidan Press reports. Many appear unaware of their actual assignments until it is too late, and a similar pattern is emerging in Laos. According to Ukrainian intelligence, a contingent of Laotian engineering troops is being deployed to the Kursk region under the label of demining operations.
All passengers aboard an An 24-passenger aircraft that crashed in Russia's Amora region have been confirmed dead. The aircraft, which had disappeared from radar near its final destination, was later found to have crashed approximately 15 kilometers from the town of Tinda. Initial reports suggest that the crash may have been caused by a pilot error during landing in poor visibility conditions. A fire reportedly broke out at the crash site after impact, further complicating rescue efforts. Emergency crews were unable to land at the scene due to difficult terrain. As a result, rescue teams had to reach the wreckage on foot while the remains of the aircraft were still burning. The commander of the An-24 aircraft that crashed in the Amur region was Vyacheslav Logvinov. This was reported by the MASH Telegram channel. The commander of the An-24 that crashed near Tinda was Vyacheslav Logvinov, MASH wrote. Before working for Angara Airlines, he completed his studies at the T.I.A. Begledanov Military Institute of the Air Defense Forces, located in Aktob. The man lived in Irkutsk. The pilot was 61 years old. He reportedly regularly flew An-24 aircraft. Vyacheslav Logvinov's daughter reported that she learned about the tragedy from the media. According to her, the news was a shock to her. This was reported by the Regnum agency. What a nightmare. Yes, my dad is a pilot, he works at Angara. But I don't know anything about what happened yet. I have no words, I'm in shock, the woman said. Logvinov's relatives are now trying to find out information about the search from the Ministry of Emergency Situations. The plane, belonging to Angara Airlines, was flying from Khabarovsk to Blagoveshchensk to Tinda. It disappeared from radar several kilometers from the Tinda airport. Later, a Rosaviatia Mi-8 helicopter recorded the burning fuselage of the missing An-24 passenger plane. As a result of the crash, according to preliminary information, there were no survivors. There were 49 people on board the plane. According to emergency services, according to one version, the plane crash occurred due to a possible crew error. It was made during the landing approach in conditions of limited visibility. A hurricane had passed through the Amora region the day before. It later became known that passengers had long complained about the model of this plane due to its unsatisfactory condition.
The Ukrainian Air Force has received the first unique mobile complexes for servicing F-16 fighter jets. This will allow for the most effective use of aircraft during wartime, according to the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The mobile complexes were developed, purchased, and transferred to the Air Force by the Come Back Alive Charitable Foundation, together with the Ministry of Defense and with the support of state-owned company Ukronafta. As part of an initiative called Project 61, a unique mobile ecosystem was created that meets the real needs of the front lines. The complexes significantly increase aviation mobility in wartime conditions when Russian troops are hunting down aircraft and airfields. There are three key modules: Mission Planning Complex, a mobile base for pre-flight briefings for pilots and escorting aircraft in the near zone. Two aviation weapon preparation systems speed up the inspection and preparation of ammunition and simplify its attachment to the aircraft. Previously, it took 10 to 12 people to attach a single piece of ammunition. Thanks to this complex, it can now be done by 3 people, says Sahi, a project representative. Ukrainian Air Force adds that financial support for the project was provided by Ukronafta, which contributed almost 1.2 million USD. The Netherlands, Denmark, and Belgium have become the leaders of an aviation coalition working to transfer F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine. In July 2024, the Netherlands officially completed the procedure for authorizing the export of 24 combat aircraft to Ukraine. In August, information appeared that the first F-16s had arrived in the Ukrainian Air Force, but details about the number of aircraft and the countries that transferred them were not disclosed. That same month, Ukraine lost the first of the fighter jets it had received. This happened during the repulsion of a massive Russian attack on August the 26th. The crash killed experienced Ukrainian pilot Oleksiy Mess, call sign Moonfish. At the end of last year, President Volodymyr Zelenski announced that a second batch of F-16s had arrived in Ukraine from Denmark. At the beginning of the year, Zelensky announced new deliveries of F-16s after talks with Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof.